All right, so let's see how you did getting started on problem 2 for sections 13, 4, and 5. We have them in order, hopefully, because that's the first step before we can even find the median. Now, in this data set, there were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 values. So we're going to know that the median is going to be right between the fifth value. So that will be right here because we have two middle values. So we'll add those up and divide by 2. There we go. So 49 and 52 divided by 2 will give us 50 and a half. I always like drawing a line if I have two middle numbers and circling if I have one. So we have 5 values now in our lower half. So we want to find the middle term of these 5 values, and that would be the number 47. So that would be our quartile 1. And then the 5 values of the upper half, the median or the middle term of the upper part would be 65. So it would be Q3. So now we're going to find the range. The range is we take the highest value, which was 78, and then subtract the lowest value, which is 12. So 78 take away 12. You can use a calculator or do that in your head. We get 66. And then the interquartile range, we're going to find the range of our quartiles. So we have 65, take away 47. There we go. And our interquartile range is 18. So again, 18 is important. We're going to take 18, multiply it by 1.5. So IQR times 1.5. See if we can get the decimal in there. And we get 27. So what do we do with that 27? We take lower quartile and subtract 27. And then we take the upper quartile and we add 27. So 65 and 27 gives us 92. Any of those higher than 92? Well, if you look at the data, no, there aren't any. And then 47 minus 27 is 20. So are there any lower than 20? And any lower than 20? Yeah, 12. So 12 would be our outlier here. So again, we have an outlier of 12 for this data set. If you want to go ahead and try problem 3 on your own, pause the video now and write them in order. Try to find that median and see if you can figure out the lower upper quartile. Again, you should definitely be able to figure out the range once you write them in order. If you want to do it ahead with me, then don't hit pause, just keep watching. So I have the values in order: 5, 7, 7, 10, 11, 11, 11, 12, 12, 23, 30, 35. So right now I'm going to figure out my median first. So my median is going to be right here in between these two 11s. And why is it there? Because we have actually 12 values in our data set. So this line now has 6 on the bottom half and 6 on the top half. So my median here is going to be, I'm going to label it Q2, which is 11. So my lower quartile, I have 6. The median is going to be right in between that 7 and 10. So I can add them up, divide by 2. And my median is going to be, sorry, not my median, my lower quartile is going to be 8.5, 17 over 2. And my upper quartile, again, 6 values right here in between 12 and 23. So I'll add those up, divide by 2. So I'm going to get 35 divided by 2. So my upper quartile here is going to be 17.5. All right, so again, this is my Q1. This is my Q3. So the range, highest value minus the smallest value, max minus min, our range is 30. Interquartile range, we're going to take 17.5 and subtract 8.5 from it. So 17.5 minus 18.5 will give me 9. So my IQR is 9. So I'm going to say, all right, 9 times 1.5. So type that into your calculator, you get 13.5. What do we do with that 13.5? We're going to subtract it from our lower quartile. And we're going to add it to our upper quartile. So 8.5 minus 13.5, we're going to get -5. Any smaller than -5? No. 17.5 plus 13.5, we get 31. Any larger than 31? Yes, actually there is a number larger. So I'm just going to change the color here. What's our outlier? 35 is the outlier. So for number 4, they want us to find the median, lower quartile, upper, and interquartile range for these states here. So let me just write those in order from least to greatest. So smallest is 124, and then we have 147, 164, 269, and then 656. So quite a big range there of the area. So we only have 5 values. So what is the median going to be? Our median is 164. So I'm just going to put MED there. Actually, I'll write the whole thing out. All right. Our lower quartile. Well, the lower quartile, it's going to be what is between 127 and 124 and 147. So we have to add those up and divide those by 2. This will be our lower quartile. So again, you can grab a calculator. We get 271 over 2, which is 135.5. So that's Q1, our lower quartile. Our upper quartile, so we'll add those up and divide by 2. And we get 925 over 2, which gives us 462.5. So that's Q3. All right, so lower quartile, upper, and last thing we need to find is the IQR. So what is 462.5 minus 135.5? And our IQR, let me see if I can fit this here. My IQR is going to be 327. All right, now for number 5. 5, we want to find an outlier. So what we want to do first is find out what the median is. And this here is not the best in a leaf because it doesn't have a key. So we'll say that 4 line 7 actually means the number 47. So what's the middle term? So if we count how many terms there are, that will help us find the middle term. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So we have 20 numbers. So we're going to put a line after our 10th number because we'll have 10 and 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So my middle term, or my median, is going to be 76.5. I got that because I found the average of 76 and 77. Now we want to find our lower quartile because we really just want to know, is there an outlier? So again, we broke it up 10 and 10. So we're going to draw a line between the 5th and 6th terms. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to draw a line here. So that is my lower quartile. I'll call that LQ. So that's going to be 72. And my upper quartile, again, I'm going to count. I'm going to go from highest to lowest. Draw a line between my 5th and 6th. So 1, 2, 3. Make sure you start with the highest. 4, 5, 6. So right here, in between my 5th and the 6th. So my upper quartile is 87. And this is a nice visual. You should be able to count. There's going to be the same number in between all the values. So let's look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you can really see that those quartiles separated into the same amount of values. So let's figure out, is there an outlier? So what is 87 minus 72 going to give us? That's our IQR, remember, the interquartile range. So 87 minus 72 gives us 15. Now we're going to multiply 15 by 1.5. So 15 times 1.5 is 22.5. What do we do with that 22.5? We're going to subtract it from our lower quartile. And then we're going to add it to the upper quartile to figure out if there's a outlier in this data set. Go ahead, pause it, see if we have any outliers here. So hopefully you got that. 47 is the outlier for this data set. We don't have any on the other end because there is nothing larger than 109.5. So hopefully you understand how to find your outliers, and you're really getting better at finding your medians and your upper and lower quartiles and that interquartile range as well. We're going to move on to box and whisker in the next video, so stay tuned.